There is a price to pay when it comes to winning, and most people don't want to pay that price. So are you going to sit around in life and constantly wonder what if, or are you going to take on the day? Are you going to keep saying one day I will do this, or are you going to say today is day one? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pamela, and today we're going to be talking all about how to live and build your dream life. This is a topic that is so important to me because I am someone that I constantly live in like this fantasy world in my head. I'm always thinking about what I'm going to be doing in the future and more like, what am I going to achieve? What am I going to accomplish? And how am I going to be successful in this time that I have on earth? Because life is short and you really need to just enjoy and make the most out of every minute and every second of the day. And for me, so many little things that used to bother me, things that used to get me really upset or annoyed, I just let it slip past and I just am completely disconnected from those situations because I'm so focused on me and making sure that everything that I want to happen actually happens. In order to become this exceptional or extraordinary person, you have to do exceptional and extraordinary things. And so today I want to just break down 5 tips to help you get to that dream life it is that you want, that dream life that you have in your head, because we all have these dreams, we all have these goals that live in our mind rent free. And if you are constantly living in that fantasy world but not doing anything to make it happen and come into fruition, then I really want this video to be that guide and that motivation for you to actually make that change in your life. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is you need to define your vision and your dreams. Before you actually get started in figuring out how am I going to achieve my dreams, you need to actually break down what is it that you even want and what is it that you are working towards. So anything you want to do in life, it starts with dreams, it starts with goals and a vision. And I have multiple videos on how to find your spark, how to get ahead of everybody, reinventing yourself, how to stay motivated to achieve your goals, all those kinds of things. I have all these videos where I give you my genuine advice on real experiences that I have had and that I've encountered in my life. And these are all things that I've went through, but also things that I'm still going through, and that is making me who I am today. Because if I wouldn't have went through all those things that I did over these last few years, on these 22 years that I've been on this earth, I would not be able to give you guys all of this advice. So I've really learned to just take the good even out of bad situations. I know what it's like to have dreams and this vision in your head that's so big and it's so strong that you really want to get it done. So it's really important to just start with what you want. Think about the categories of the things you want to accomplish. So some examples can be financials, like maybe you want to make a certain amount of money. Another can be discipline, like maybe you want to wake up earlier and have a consistent workout routine. Maybe it's education and you want to go back to school or read more every day. Do you want to start a business? Like whatever it is, just make sure that you know what your goals and your dreams are. So take a journal, take a piece of paper, open up a blank sheet or a blank page on your computer and write down everything it is that you want to do and have a why. In my video on how to find your spark, I actually break down the importance of why you need to have a why. So if you guys want a deeper analysis on that, you can definitely go watch that video. But knowing your why brings you clarity in life. It helps you stay more focused. It helps you stay on top of your goals. And this is what keeps you motivated. This is what helps you refuel your passion. It gives you meaning on what it is that you're doing. And you're reconnecting again with just finding that spark with everything it is that you're doing. You also want to dream really big. This life is so large, and even though we don't have a long time on it and on this earth, it's really important that you make the most out of it, like I said before. And if anything, you should want to live with the regret of knowing that you at least tried something rather than just not even trying at all. And remember that everything in this life is temporary. Like there are situations that we are put in without us even doing anything, but it's good to know that you are not stuck in that situation. You are not forced to be in there. You can make something out of it no matter what it is. You can truly change your life in any aspect or any way of whatever it is that you want to do. So just always think like, what is it that I'm doing? What is this all about? Think about the bigger picture, know your purpose, or figure out like, what is my purpose? Why are you doing the things it is that you're doing? Why do you want this specific life? Why do you want this dream or this goal to happen? So just have a vision and some sort of path. And the reason why so many people either fall off track or they're not that focused or they're not that motivated in life is because they don't have a picture perfect, like clear vision. And it doesn't mean that that is exactly what it's going to be. Like you can say I want $1 million and maybe you don't make $1 million, but you do make a great amount of money in your life. It's like you should have at least some sort of vision of where it is that you want to go. Know that you are going to and you will accomplish everything it is that you want. Tip number 2 is evaluate your life and do an audit. This is so important after you have figured out what are your dreams, what are your goals, what is your vision. And the reason why I recommend this as step number 2, there is a price to pay for whatever it is that you want. And most people don't want to pay that price. So just think, like, what are you willing to do? What is your plan going to be with this life audit? Look at all aspects of your life. Look at friendships, look at relationships, look at your money that you're making, the career, like look at everything and genuinely just reevaluate it. If you are not happy, if you are not 100% yourself and you're wishing that days were different in certain categories of the ones I just mentioned, then you know where most of the work has to go into. For me, it was always discipline and working hard. I always looked at other people online and especially in content creation, and I always thought like, I want to be that person. And so when I graduated high school, I had a mission in mind, which was I knew I wasn't going to be around this same group of people. I knew that I was going to be attending my dream college in New York, which was fashion school. And most importantly, I was going to be in a whole new setting, in a whole new environment. So I knew it was the perfect time to start living that dream it is that I want, living that little fantasy world, but in real life. The month that I graduated high school, which was in June 2020, I launched my blog. I started taking social media seriously. In March 2021, I started TikTok, and since then, it has literally just been uphill. The reason why you want to have an audit and start looking at your life in this way is because it helps you put into perspective, where are you sinking and where are you swimming? Where are you doing the best and where are you doing the worst and where you're struggling? You should know now where your priorities should be, and everybody should just always evaluate where their life currently is and think about like, what do you want to adjust and what do you want to improve before you actually start your journey? Because if you don't begin with where you currently are, it can be hard to even figure out like, what areas do you want to fix and what areas do you want to improve? What areas maybe are kind of just stagnant and they're not going anywhere. Just always reevaluate where you currently are. Tip number 3 is make a blueprint and start taking action. Think about this situation. Imagine you have a friend that you constantly try to make plans with, and like every time you guys finalize a plan or you finally find a day to hang out, the day of they go, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't hang out, like something came up and they can't make it. And now imagine you've been trying to make plans with this person every week now for months, and now it's developed into years, and like you're still not able to hang out with this person. You're kind of just sick of them constantly making excuses. And now imagine that this person is your mindset. Imagine that you keep holding yourself back. Imagine you keep making excuses for yourself and you keep telling yourself, oh, I can't do this or I can't start this. Literally put it into that perspective and your mind will completely change on everything it is that you want to do. I always would say, tomorrow I'm going to do this. Monday I'll start. Sunday I'll start. And I never would start. And that is horrible because you're basically that annoying friend, but for yourself. You're not doing what it is that you're saying you're going to do. And so if you guys want like a full breakdown on how I do my goal planning for the month, goal setting, and all those kinds of things, how I develop like a step-by-step plan, I have a monthly reset video where I literally break down my Canva deck on everything that I use to set my monthly goals and my monthly habits. I've been doing this since May and it has been amazing, but there's this saying, like I mentioned earlier in the video, which is day one or one day. You have to stop telling yourself like, one day I'm going to do this, and just be like, today is day one. Today is day one of this new journey. Today is day one of me doing this. And so I recommend taking action in 2 different ways. Take action with your mindset, but also take action with yourself physically. So when it comes to your mindset, have a what if mindset and follow the let them theory. The what if mindset is this trick that I give myself, which is kind of like when I'm faced in a situation that I'm having a little bit of trouble or I'm doubting myself, I think, what if I did this? What if I took the leap? What if I took the risk? What if I did this? And I just let my mind go wild on the possibilities of what would happen if I actually did this. And with the let them theory, I heard this on a podcast from the Mel Robbins podcast, and she basically talks about when you're faced with certain situations or when you're in certain parts of life where you maybe feel a little sad or things didn't really go your way, or maybe someone's acting a certain way, you have to just think, let them. Let them be this way, let them think this way, let them be the way that they are, and just keep going on with your life. I used to care so much about what people would think. I used to care so much about being this perfect person, being the perfect daughter, being the perfect sister, the perfect girlfriend. And it is unrealistic. You can't be perfect for everybody and in every situation. You just have to be good for yourself. And you don't even have to be perfect for yourself. We're going to have those bad days. We're going to have those off days, but you genuinely have to just let people think the way that they want. Because if I would have kept thinking, oh, these people from high school are going to make fun of me because I'm a content creator, I would not be where I am today. I would not even be remotely close to accomplishing half of the things that I have done. And so your emotions really dictate your motion. I heard that, and that completely like changed the way that I think when it comes to doing things and taking action. So control your emotions, because that controls what you do and your actual emotions. And just learn to stop making excuses, because the more you keep saying, oh, tomorrow or next week, then you are just going to ruin it for yourself. You're going to be pushing yourself further and further from where you can be. Take action physically with yourself. And a lot of the strongest and most disciplined people are the ones that get up and wake up every day, even when they have low passion, even when they have low motivation, because they're thinking about something bigger than themselves. Sometimes you have to perform without that passion. You have to perform without that motivation. And not everybody likes to go to the gym. Like, not everybody likes to get up and grind and do these things, but they do it because they think of something bigger than themselves. And that's the mindset you need to have. You have to remember that your future self is going to thank you for everything it is that you're doing right now. Be uncommon around common people. You want to be exceptional? Do exceptional things. Be the guy or the girl that people don't understand, because you are just so laser focused on like whatever it is that you have to do. You have to be a warrior with your goals and your dreams. Show up today, then tomorrow, and the day after that. Like, don't have a limit or a cap on whatever it is that you can do, because know in your heart and in your mind that you can accomplish everything it is that you want to do. If you have pain, turn that into passion, turn that into purpose. I've been through so many things that I never thought I would be able to get back up from, but I just always kept a strong mindset, and I always kept that dream like in my heart and in my mind that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Tip number 4 is get rid of short term and start thinking long term. This is so essential when it comes to building your dream life, because you have to know that the journey is long and it is treacherous, and there's going to be obstacles and things are going to come in your road, but know that it is worth it. And as soon as you tap into the fact that you are working now for the long term and for future you, then you're all set. I used to think about wanting that like immediate gratification. I used to think, oh, I'm gonna work out today and like maybe by tomorrow I'm gonna look different, or I'm gonna start putting in the work today into content creation and I need 1,000 followers by tomorrow. Like, once I got out of that immediate gratification mindset, things started to change for me. And let me tell you guys, like, I've been on my self-growth journey for years. As soon as I was, I think, like a senior in high school, my mindset was just like, I start college in a year, I need to get my life together. Like, I've always been kind of like an anxious person when it comes to my future. So I think that part of me, it's not good, and sometimes we're not doing great, but that side of me is really what got me to where I am today. Because if I didn't think so much about the future, I would not have started putting in the work all those years ago. And I'm just now, 4 years later, at 22 years old, actually reaping the rewards of all of the work that I've been putting in all those years ago. I did not get a brand deal the first day I started posting on Instagram. I did not get 1,000 subscribers the first day I posted on YouTube. Like, all of these things that we expect immediately, you have to let go of that mindset. And I used to really struggle also with wanting like that lifestyle so quickly, but it's about the journey, because that is what gets you excited. That is what makes it even more worth it, is that knowing there is that light at the end of the tunnel. So as soon as you get rid of that short-term mindset and then you start thinking long-term, things are going to be easier. It's going to be easier for you to get out of bed. It's going to be easier for you to do that workout, to read that book, to journal, because you know that future you is going to be like, thank you so much for everything you did, because now we are here today. And that's why people say, think about the future you and start showing up as that person today, because more and more you're just going to get closer to that end goal, and you're going to enjoy the process more and more every single day. Tip number 5 is keep learning every single day. Even when you graduate school, or even when you're on summer break, or even when you're not in school, you should keep educating yourself. Whether you are a student, or you are a post-grad, or you're an adult watching this, you have kids and a family, or maybe you're just figuring out your life, always keep learning and always keep educating yourself. I was never the best in school, and even up until I graduated college 7 months ago, I was not good in school. I'm horrible at math. I literally don't know anything about numbers. I've always just had a harder time with that, like chemistry, mathematics, science, anything with STEM. I am just absolutely horrible. I am an English girl through and through. I love to read. I love to write essays. I love anything with like humanities. Just all that stuff always stood out to me. And so when I graduated, I was excited because I was like, yay, I never have to do homework again. I never have to do an essay again. But I still kept learning in other ways. I'm always listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and just inspiring things that are keeping me motivated. But it's really important to just always learn something new every single day. And I have a newsletter called Spill the Success if you guys want to subscribe. And it is a daily newsletter that goes into your email Monday through Friday. I do job and internship listings. I do all of those kinds of things, but I also do quotes of the day and a daily article on something you can read about what is going on in the world. And a lot of it is like business, mindset, productivity based. I always like to just listen to some sort of podcast or read some sort of article and put it in there for other people to pass it down and pass it out, because I never know if that can inspire somebody else or motivate them or even educate them. So always stay up to date on that. And also learn to take risks, because with risks, that is where you learn the most. When you take a chance on yourself, you learn the most from that. When you fail and you get back up and you fail again and you get back up and you keep repeating, you learn so much from that. Remember when you learned to ride a bike when you were little, you fell and you got back up and you kept doing that until one day those training wheels came off and you would just fly down the block. But you obviously had to learn from that. I also really think it's great to have role models, have people that you look up to in the industry that you are currently in, or even just people that you love in general. Like if I wasn't really into business or entrepreneurship, maybe I wouldn't have all those business role models that I have today. But so many people that are in industries that I'm not even in are so inspiring. Like for example, athletes, when they do interviews about motivation and what keeps them going. I am not an athlete. I'm absolutely horrible. I did track in high school and I was so bad, but I love the motivation that athletes have. And especially Kobe Bryant, his videos on how he would just get up and practice hours a day, like keeps me going, because that is the motivation that sometimes I need to hear. So if you guys need a little bit of that, I really recommend like listening to how athletes think and their mindset before a game and how they practice every day to get better, because obsession beats talent every day. It's not about being the best player. It's not about being the most successful person. The obsession and just showing up every day is what is going to beat talent every single time. And I also recommend having a journal to keep track of your life. I cannot tell you guys how many journals I have, but currently I've been rotating between 4. I have one for every day. I have one for praying, one for manifestations, and then one for just keeping track of my growth. But it's really important for me to rotate between all 4 of these like every now and then, because that is what is going to allow me in the future to look back and be like, oh my god, I remember on this day when this happened, and like this is what I was thinking. In my everyday journal, on there, I write down like what happened throughout the day, how I'm feeling, emotions. In my prayer book, I already have templates that are already in there, like what was your highlight of the day? What do you want to thank God for? Like all of those things. And then in my manifestation journal, that is where like I write out things as if I already have them and I'm just thinking about the future me. And then in my journal, which keeps track of my growth, in here, I like to look at goals that I'm currently working on. Maybe I'm trying to get a brand deal. Maybe I want to focus on discipline, like whatever it is, I just keep track of it in there so that I know like my mindset during that time. My last tip to building your dream life is enhance your environment to reflect your dreams. Make a vision board. I cannot describe how important this is when it comes to your everyday. I've always kept a digital vision board. I've been doing it for years, but this was the first year that I actually made a physical one. And I've said this before in other videos, but the first 6 months of 2024 were really hard for me. I learned a lot of lessons, but I learned to apply them now as we're entering the last 6 months of the year. Having a vision board is great because it gives you clarity. It gives you more of a direction and motivation for those moments when you're feeling low. I can't describe the change of turning it digital into physical. Like I am looking at it right now on my wall and I just love it because I have so many things on there, so many quotes and things that I absolutely love that just really remind me of like where I'm going. And I also did a TikTok, I think today, on carrying a mini vision board around with me as I'm doing things, like especially on my morning walks when I'm listening to really inspiring videos or interviews about really successful people, or listening to just any kind of interview about lessons that someone has learned. when I have my vision board with me and I listen to that and I'm looking at it, it reminds me that all these people I listen to that I look up to were just like me one day, and they were just like you one day. They were little and then they grew up and they took a risk, and that's what keeps me going. So have a vision board. Also make sure to clean your space monthly. Get rid of things that reflect an old version of you. When I move my room around, I feel like that really helps me get inspired for this new era that I'm entering, because when I watch my old TikTok videos, I look at how my room was set up, or how like where I live was set up, and it reminds me of that time where like I was going through certain things, or my family was like, we were all going through certain things. Over the last like few months now, I've been adding new things to my room. I've been moving things around, and I feel like this new space really reflects a new era that I'm entering. So I really recommend even like moving things around, or moving your bed to the other side, maybe getting a desk, like whatever it is, have your environment reflect who you are, which is why I'm also like, make a vision board and have it wherever it is that you work. Look at friendships and people and relationships and declutter that as well, because even though your environment is important, also think about who you are spending time with. I used to care so much about having like the strongest and best circle of friends, but I'm realizing now that the smaller it is, the better, because those are the real people in your life, the ones who are still there for you, the ones who are with you through every era, through every step of the journey, are the ones that you really need to hold and cherish close, because those are the real ones. Like whether it's friends or family, relationships, whatever it is, just know that decluttering your space is good, but also declutter who you're spending time with that isn't really focused on a singular path, or maybe they just don't really know where they're going and they're kind of reflecting their doubts and their problems onto you constantly. That is something that you don't deserve to have, or that's something that you don't even just deserve to go through, because you have your own things that you want to focus on. So stay on that road. I want to end this video by saying you have to enjoy the progress. Reflect on the person that you are becoming. It is not going to be an overnight success. You have to do this work even on the days you don't want to, because it is about who you become, not the end goal or the destination. You have to push forward and just remember that that future version of you will be thanking you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I really, really hope that this was helpful when it comes to building your dream life or just getting yourself set up on whatever goal it is that you have in mind. Thank you so much for all the support. We hit 2,000 subscribers, like I said in my last video, and we are officially monetized. So thank you guys so much for that. Make sure to keep up over on my TikTok with my weekly YouTube progress. And I really, really love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!